Good morning, everybody. Right, we are over on a job in Redditch. We're going to install in a floor slab today. So we've got the concrete coming, no pump required for this job. We're just going to straight tip it. As you see, we've got our 3 chutes set up. The concrete's here. We're going to be going in with a C30 mix with fibres to give reinforcement into the concrete slab. Watch us put this job together now. This is the start. Wait for the finish. And here it comes. C30 concrete into the floor slab. We'll rake this around to the desired depth and then give it a dapple off. Make sure it's nice and flat and level for the customer. You what? No, I haven't taken my test yet. Now we rake the concrete around. We've got our laser set up there with our receiver. The receiver's been set to the datum where the finished concrete's going to be. And then as soon as we know it's bleeping, bang on. We know we're at the level we need to be. Perfect. Then we tamp the concrete to make sure it's nice and flat, level to the datum across the whole floor slab. And then we know we're good to go for the next stage. We are now traveling to the next job after doing our concrete, and we are going down with 150mm of PIR insulation, underfloor heating throughout the whole ground floor of the property, and then 60mm of liquid screed. So follow us on our little journey over to the next job, where I'll keep you posted on the updates of that one. Come on in then, let's have a little look. So we're on to our next job now. This install is going to be full insulation, PIR, 150mm, underfloor heating throughout, and then 60mm of liquid screed to bring us up to level of the DPC. These internal blocks are coming out, so we're going to cut these out, knock them through, so that we can run flush through the whole property without having to have any steps over. So this is the 150mm PIR that's going in. Just made a little cut to get us into the return of the doorway. Obviously we'll stagger our insulation because we don't want any big long runs of joins because it puts weakness in. So nice and straightforward. Stagger the boards out, separating membrane, perimeter edging around the outside, and then we can get piping. And then obviously on Thursday then we'll get the liquid screed in here. I believe the customer wants to go for a thermio liquid screed, which has better heating properties and thermal values. It heats up quicker and cools down slower. So stay tuned for that one. In the meantime, watch us on our journey of putting the insulation in. Boo! So sometimes when we get to site, obviously the snots from doing the block work with the builders, the brickies don't always clean it up. 9 times out of 10 they're pretty good, but sometimes we have to give it a little tidy up, just so that our insulation can sit straight. So it's not like that underneath the insulation, and our insulation then's got no rock in the boards. We go above and beyond, baby.
Belongs here. Army, recruiting now.
Okay, so we're down with 150mm Celotex, perimeter edgings round, separating membranes down in the whole property. We're now time to mark out the kitchen cabinets. Customer's having 600 units down here with a hob in and a fridge freezer. Island is going in the middle. So we've got our measurements. Now it's time to mark it up. Let's go. If you're wondering why I've just marked 650 out, it's because they're having 600 cabinets on this wall. However, we've got dot and dab and a board going on here, which is probably going to bring it out around 50 mil. We don't want to heat underneath the cabinets because it's wasted energy, it's not efficient, and we don't want to heat their food. Okie dokie. So, what we're on now is the underfloor heating install. So, follow me and I'll show you the manifold. So, we've got the manifold put up on the wall. Each port is independent to each zone. So, that one there, for instance, is the utility. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, and we're just on our 4th now going into the kitchen. Then we've got 2 for the living room, and we've also got a hallway, an office as well. So what we do is, depending on the heat source, depends on the centres of the pipe. Now, if the heat source is a boiler, spec should say 200 centres. If it's an air source heat pump, there should be 150 centres. Now, what we've done in this building is because they've got 2 large openings where there's going to be a lot of glass, we've tightened the centres up towards those. So we've gone in with 150 centres on there. This is actually a boiler heat source. So we're going between 150 and 180. 150 where we've got lots of glass, and then 180 to 200 where we haven't got lots of glass. The ceiling's a normal height as well, so that don't really affect the heat loss on there. We've done heat loss calculations as well. And the design's all been done by the guys over at Ambient. So that's a little look at the install for now. Follow us throughout the day and we'll show you the other installs on the pipes and the plots on the other plot, if that makes any sense. A little look into how we overcome problems. So our underfloor heating supplier has missed a pack of connection fittings, coupling fittings off the order. So we've had to pull off the 2-plot job and jump over to another job. So we're going to get 2 jobs prepped whilst we pulled off that plot, and then we can go back to that plot tomorrow when we've got all the equipment and get the second plot piped up. So we're going to prep these 2 little jobs, then get them poured first thing in the morning, then head back over to the plot 2 of the 2-plot job, and then we'll pour that one first thing Friday morning. So it's all about how you overcome problems, isn't it, in this game? No matter what part of the industry you're in. We'll take a little look at what we've got going on here. So the insulation's down. They've gone down with a 50mm insulation. Manifold is on the wall, just there. A little 3-port manifold for this little spot. The lads are just getting cracking with the prep, so they're putting edging round, separating membrane as we would normally. So yeah, we're going to get this one prepped. Then we're going to go over to do another one, and then get both of those poured first thing in the morning. Yes, everybody. We are over on our second job, where we've had to pull off the other one, as I previously stated. So the customer has supplied the underfloor heating. You like it? I reckon it's black and yellow-ish. Goes with the branding. What are you saying? Might have to change my supplier. So we've got a 3-port manifold. Charlie's just connected up to the manifold at the minute, making sure that's nice and tight and tidy. We've gone into the bathroom. Excuse the poor lighting. We've gone into the bathroom. That's zone 1. This is zone 2. This is zone 3. Boiler fed, 200 centres, but quite high ceilings in here. So we're probably going to tighten up the centres a little bit here, as we did on the last one. So yeah, stay tuned and we'll get a little video of it when it's finished completely. Once the system's down and everything's piped and connected to the manifold, what we then do is you pressurise the system. Now this is the bar pressure that the system's sat at. So currently it's sat at nothing because we've only just connected the water for the flow and return. Open up the flows. Make sure there's no leaks. Any leaks, then we have to tighten up the connections just to make sure. There's no leaks coming through the system at the moment. But the system's not full, so you won't really tell until the system's full whether there's going to be any leaks or not. Now we will test every system up to between 4 and 6 bars of pressure, which is about double the running pressure. The reason we do this is just to make sure that there's no leaks throughout the system. We take it up to a high pressure reading for that reason, and if there is any expansion in the pipes, taking up to such a high pressure will cause expansion in the pipes before the screed is laid. So we're looking to between 4 and 6 bar of pressure. As you can see, there's a little leak just here, so we need to make sure that that is thoroughly closed off, which it wasn't. So the isolating valve wasn't thoroughly closed off, hence why the water was dripping out a little bit. But then once we've tested it up to between 4 and 6 bar, what we then do is we reduce it back to between 1 and 2, which is normal running pressure for the system. Right, we're back over on our Clent plots, the 2 plots. One's done, one's getting piped up today. I'm just going to get the manifold on. The customer wants the manifold put on the stud wall. This is going to be the utility. That's going to be a little office in there. So the chippies have kindly knocked us up a little semi-permanent stud wall. Manifold's going to go on at roughly about that height, about 600 off the floor. And then we're going to get piping. Just got to mark out all the areas as we did the other day on the last plot. And then we're good to go. We will now pressurise this manifold. It's a 10-port manifold. So what we tend to do is we open them up one by one, so the water can be forced through the system slowly but surely without getting any airlocks in. Whereas if you open all of them at the same time, what can happen is airlocks can be caused and it won't give you a true pressure on there. So we make sure there's no spluttering coming out. We just fill the system full of water, but what you can do is use a Rothenberger or another pressure pump to pump the system full of air. Either way, you're just testing for any leaks and making sure the system is holding the right bar of pressure. Screed's just turned up from the overflow. Some idiot behind me. And we're going to do a flow test. So basically what this does is it tests the slump of the screed and the flow of it, the viscosity. These are your numbers that you need to achieve. So we're going in with an eco. We need to be between 24 and 26. Let's have a little look and see how good they are at batching. Tape measure. 22, 23. It's on a slight tilt, the board. So we're going to go in with the calculations that are just down here. So this tells you what you need to add per cubic metre. So on the eco, it's to move it 10 mil, which is what we need to do. We need to add 7 litres per cubic metre, and we have on 8 cube. So we need to do the calculations. So now Adam's going to drop the water in that we need. He's going to spin the drum up. And the water's going in to 45 litres. That was the calculation. As you can see, bang on 45. Perfect. The screed's all been poured, and now we're giving it its second dapple. So the first dapple aggravates it and get the bubbles up to the surface, and then you go across the top with a nice light kiss in the other direction to make sure it's nice and finished properly. Gives you a glass effect on the top. Pan around, Billy. Show them what it looks like, baby. Lovely jubbly. And when we're finished, it looks like glass, baby. full flat level floor installed for the customer. Good afternoon. Right, another survey to carry out. We're over in Telford towards Blim Hill, and we've got a beautiful, beautiful barn conversion here. And we are going to go in on top of the Type 1 here with a 1200 gauge membrane and then a self-compacting concrete. The perks of a self-compacting concrete are that it would give you a screeded finish because the aggregates are smaller, but also offers you the strength of concrete, which a screed wouldn't necessarily do depending on what screed you're using. So they're going to keep this pathway here, which is old sort of cobblestone bricks laid, and then there's a partition going in externally to that, and also on the other side. That side's going to be a vet practice, and this side is going to be a dog grooming area. So that's a little bit about this plot, and then we're going to go over to the other plot over the road, where we haven't got any floors to match, but we have got a datum. So stay tuned. Plot 2, another barn. The customer in here is doing, so there's going to be a mixture of dogs in here. There'll be spayed and neutered dogs in here, and then they've got another plot over the road, which is going to be non-spayed and neutered dogs. So they keep them all separate. But this is the plot. And we're going to go down with another 75mm self-compacting concrete. That's the datum just over there. And they're going to go in with a nice rubber flooring. So we're just going to work out what the rubber flooring is to work out our datum down from the finished concrete slab over there. Right, the final survey of the day and the week. We're over on a job where we install the screed. They've dropped a latex on top now, as you can see. So they've done this themselves. They've done a bad job, truth be told. Looks very nice and flat. That's in anticipation of the finished floor going down, which I believe is Carnine in here. But we installed the underfloor heating, insulation, and liquid screed into this property. But it's come on so much. It's really nice to see, because we don't often get the opportunity to come back to a job when we've done what we've done. But it's lovely to see how the house progresses. So upstairs is first and second fixed, I believe now. The bathroom's all in by the look of it. Tiles are all up and that. But we've come back to quote the resin out the back of the property. So I'm going to have a little measure up, see what depths we've got, what system he wants to go in for, and in width even, and then I can price it up for him. But yeah, it's nice to come back and see how our job progresses into the next stage.